So in the latest of our series of interviews building up to the conference, I'm going to be joined by Jess Southworth, who's the Director of Sales at Hotel Football. Good afternoon, Jess. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me.
First things first, hospitality, as we've been hearing, have been very hard hit during the pandemic. How's it affected you guys?
So it's been, I think I've described this quite a few times as the most extreme team build. So I say that because hospitality as a whole, I mean, the industry itself was completely wiped away. I think looking back kind of this time last year, we were just in the beginning stages of what the following year was going to bring. I don't think anyone really anticipated just how much of an impact it would have. So I think with us, it was very difficult because straight away you take away the nature of hotel football, having it's all about people, hospitality is, but with us having a stadium on our doorstep, it all of a sudden this area, there's nothing around anymore. So I think to quickly have to shut up shop, if you like, then try to look after the well-being of our team. You know, we had some guests that stay with us individually on their own quite regular, and you know, it's like, what were they doing throughout? So I think it's impacted us not only obviously from a business and a revenue point of view, but quite emotionally as well. I think now we've come out the other side, and it feels a lot different. Like everyone's definitely in a different headspace. So it's a bit of a roller coaster. I think everyone's going to say that no matter what industry they're in.
Yeah, and I think as well, am I right in saying that you will have learned from the experiences of the past 12 months as well as an industry?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think from us as an individual organisation, we've learned how to be more efficient, not only from a revenue and a cost saving point of view, but with our time. I think everyone's learned hospitality can be notorious for the hours that you work and, you know, the balance that you have with life. But I think now we're quite cautious that as we're moving into kind of a new chapter, if you like, that we need to make sure we maintain that kind of well-being element that we've started to build throughout. So a lot of the company initiatives we've done to keep people motivated, engaged, etc., that will all live on. So it's kind of changed it's sort of changed the dynamic of how we work, probably for the better.
In terms of that, and I know you were closed down to the general public, but I know that Hotel Football in particular made themselves available to NHS staff that were working during COVID. I can imagine that must have been a major undertaking to keep the place safe, to keep it secure, to make sure that there was no infections within that hotel.
Yes, definitely. I think that is what has probably now set us up in a really good position, because straight away from the offset, first of all, our owners making the decision to open the hotel to NHS, it kind of made everyone feel that we weren't just sort of going home and sitting at home. We had a bit of a purpose then throughout the lockdown. So that's one thing. So kind of from an emotional point of view, those that wanted to go off and, you know, and take the time at home, and, you know, some people had to shield, that's fine. They did, but then anyone that physically wanted to volunteer and be in the building, they had the option, so they didn't have to be on their own. So from that point of view, it was great. But then from a safety in the workplace procedure point of view, straight from the offset, the team had to know, you know, what does fogging mean? I never knew what that meant 12 months ago. You know, what is this? This is a magic mist that protects us all. But straight away, the team needed to understand, you know, what is that? You know, looking at the way we operate, the way our kind of breakfast is served. Obviously, we were closed, but having to make sure that the people we were looking after didn't get ill. You know, that they could get on the shifts, like what did they need to conduct their work on a day-to-day basis. So it got everyone thinking differently, but definitely for the better.
What has been, and I'm sure there's been a few points, but what has been the main takeout that you've actually learned from the past 12 months?
I would have to say resilience. I think before you're presented with something as enormous as this, it's easy to kind of have a bit of an obstacle. And as a business, sometimes when you're on shift, if you may be asked to do something, or maybe you're asked to get involved with something you don't particularly want to, you don't normally want to get out of your comfort zone. I think when you're presented with something like this, you are quite resilient. I drove 100 miles to get toilet paper one day because we needed it, like desperately. Everyone remembers toilet roll walls. It's things like that. You think, you know what, we can do it. It's fine. We're a team. Everyone's here together. You're stronger together, as cliche as it sounds. But yeah, everyone's got resilience. Everyone had to dig deep, but we're all resilient. And now, we've filed that experience away. We've learned from it, and we'll build on now.
You'll be joining us at the Regenerating the Workplace conference in September down in London. What are you going to be bringing? What are you going to be sharing with the audience down there?
So, without giving too much away, I want to take everyone through our methodology, if you like. So how we did what we did throughout the past 12 months, throughout the various lockdowns, the changes to tiers. So not only from an employee from a health and well-being perspective, but what we did to be more efficient, and then obviously to keep our guests safe and welcome them back. So we kind of set it out in a bit of a formation, hence, with hotel football, our owners have a footballing background. We had a starting lineup. So I'm going to take everyone through that journey and what that looked like.
Brilliant. We look forward to seeing you down there. Thanks for taking time out today.
Thank you very much. I'll see you then.